There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known by ordinary readers. It is a dimension as vast as history and as complex as human error. It is the middle ground between paper and page, between intention and accident, and it lies between the pit of printers' anxiety and the summit of their ambition. This is the dimension of discovery. It is an area which we call the bibliographic zone. Perhaps you are here because you have encountered a collational formula in the wild. Or perhaps your friends and mentors have decided that it is time for you too to learn how to deal with the horrors on our shelves. Either way, welcome! In this series of videos, we will learn how to decipher the dreaded collational formula. So let's start with the big question. What is a collational formula? A collational formula is a way to describe the book's physical configuration by listing important information like its format, the number of gatherings, and its signing statement. It does not include any description of the binding. Collation is entirely about the pages as prepared by the printer before binding. In theory, every copy of a given book should have the same collational formula. You may be familiar with catalogers' and booksellers' statements that a book has been collated and found perfect. This is a way of saying that it matches the collational formula as prepared by an experienced bibliographer. Bibliography is a small enough field that there hasn't been a general outcry for standardization. Every bibliographer will do things in their own particular way, often because their area of expertise has unique printing quirks. Be prepared to hear this a lot from me. Every bibliographer and every printer is likely to do things in their own particular way. Still, there are a few guidelines that most people will follow. In this video series, I will be teaching you how to read collational formulas and get some useful information out of most of them. If you watch the videos carefully, that will probably also give you a sense of how to write them. But for that, you should really be taking a class where you can practice on a lot of books around you. It's only fair to give you a sense of where I'm coming from on this too. I am a North American librarian, and I learned how to read and write collational formulas at Rare Book School and at Indiana University. That means that I, broadly speaking, write collational formulas the way that Fredson Bowers and Philip Gaskell would want me to. If you're working in a radically different tradition, you may want to look elsewhere. So, if you're ready, let's take a deep breath and get started. Before we can tackle the collational formula, we need to get some definitions out of the way. In bibliographic terms, a leaf is a piece of paper that has a page on either side of it. A leaf is the basic unit used in bibliographic description, so that bears repeating. A leaf is a piece of paper that has a page on either side of it. If it helps you remember, the German, French, Italian, and Spanish languages all use the word leaf to refer to a sheet of paper. Germans go one step further and refer to a page as a Seite, or side, because you find it on the side of the leaf. Format is the relationship between the leaves of a book and the sheets of paper used to produce those leaves. Counterintuitively, the bigger the format, the fewer leaves you can get out of a single sheet of paper. The basic rule of thumb with format is that when you fold a sheet of paper, you double the number of leaves and/or pages in it.
If you fold a sheet of paper once, you get a folio, which has 2 leaves and 4 pages. The word folio literally means leaf in Latin. Fold your folio again and you get a quarto, which has 4 leaves and 8 pages. The names of the next few formats are all Latin and refer to the number of leaves from each sheet. Quarto means fourth, as in a fourth of a sheet. A third fold and we get an octavo, 8 leaves and 16 pages. Octavo means eighth, as in an eighth of a sheet. We could keep folding this sheet of paper over and over again to get smaller and smaller formats. After octavo, we often just add the syllable mo to the end to the number of leaves. The smallest format I've ever seen is a 128 mo, which requires 7 folds and produces 256 tiny pages. If you want, you can also cut the paper before you fold it and then fold the 2 pieces separately to get other weird formats like the duodecimo or 12mo, but I won't get into that here. The key point is that format refers to how many leaves or pages you get out of a single sheet. A gathering, sometimes also called a signature, more on why that might be later, is a set of sheets that have been folded and are bundled together for sewing, usually one inside the other. Usually, you're looking at one sheet, especially for the smaller formats, but sometimes you'll find that a gathering is made up of multiple sheets. In the 15th century, when printing was young and everything seemed possible, printers often gathered folios in tens, 5 sheets, quartos in eights, 2 sheets, and octavos in sixteens, 2 sheets. Things calmed down in the 1600s and 1700s, and folios were usually only done in sixes. Quartos and eights hung around until the 1600s, and octavos in anything above eights became rare after the 1400s. We'll talk more about these nuances in a later video. Each gathering in a book would be labeled with a specific symbol, typically, but not always, a letter of the printer's alphabet, which is all the letters of the regular alphabet we use today, excluding J, U, and W. Why? It's tradition. The gathering symbol would be printed at the bottom of some of the pages of the book. For longer books, printers might have to run through the printer's alphabet multiple times. These symbols would later be used by the binder to make sure that they got the gatherings in the right order. We call adding these symbols to the gathering signing the gathering. The labels are called signature marks.
So, to sum up what we know so far, a leaf is a piece of paper with a page on either side of it. Format is the relationship between a sheet and the leaves that it will form once it is properly folded. A gathering is a set of leaves that is treated as a discrete unit when sewn together to form the book. And signature marks are the symbols used by a printer to identify a gathering and to signal the order of the leaves to the binder.
Let's talk about notation. Remember that the basic bibliographic unit is the leaf. A group of leaves together form a gathering. Since the printers have provided us with signature marks, we usually refer to gatherings using their signature marks. Gathering A, gathering B, etc. To refer to a specific leaf, bibliographers use the symbol of its gathering and its number, i.e., which leaf it is in the gathering. Y2, for instance, is the second leaf in the gathering signed Y. If a bibliographer wants to identify a specific page, they will refer to the recto side or the verso side of the leaf. Recto comes from the Latin for direct or straightforward and refers to the page or side that is on the right-hand side when the book is open. For an unfolded sheet of paper, this is the front. Verso comes from the Latin verb to turn and it is the side of the leaf once it has been turned over. The verso page is sometimes also called the back, though that assumes that you're reading from left to right the way we do in the European tradition. Recto and verso are identified in different ways. Sometimes the word recto or verso is spelled out. Sometimes they are abbreviated with a superscript R or V. And sometimes recto is marked with a superscript A and verso with a superscript B.
That's enough for now. In the next video, we will talk about how these elements can be deployed in a collational formula.